Good evening, Erev Toiv, Moirei v'Raboisai, dear Mispalalim, Choshev Anoshim. I must say that from last week until now, from the moment that I posted the Shiur last week, I got so many feedbacks, beautiful feedbacks, text messages from people, phone calls, one after the other, all saying how wonderful it was to hear Shiur. And from this I understand how important it is to learn Divrei Tora, especially that right now I am, as you can see, over here in the shul in our Beis Medrash, Keser Avram Chabad. It's very sad to see the shul empty, but we understand that this is the Ratzon of Hashem Yisborech. This is what we need to do at this moment, so we're going to be happy and besimcha. Being that now is a very auspicious time, we're now on Erev Rosh Chodesh Nisan. We're going out of the month of Adar into the month of Nisan. We know that Nisan is between 2 months, the Havdar Rashi Tevis of Ani Hashem Reifecha. Adar is Ani Hashem Reifecha because a Dalet with a dash on top could be Hashem, so Adar is Ani Hashem Reifecha. And Iyar, of course, is Ani Hashem Reifecha. Nisan has 2 nuns. Nisan starts with a nun and ends with a nun, so that is Nisei Nisim. So this month we're going to have Nisei Nisim. It's very special now, the time that we're sitting now, as I said, it's a very special time. So therefore I want to start off asking for a bracha for Refuah Shleimo Kroiva, for Rabbi Korf's younger brother, Mordechai Yehuda Lei ben Rivka. Hashem should give him a Refuah Shleimo Kroiva. In the schus of all the Ma'aseh Tzedakah and Chesed that he does, he should have a Refuah Shleimo, and he should be well and healthy and strong, and he'll be home with his family, Techen from Yad Mamash B'Simcha B'Tuv Levov. I would like to mention also that we're learning now for the Refuah Shleimo Kroiva for Reuven Shmuel ben Chai Yisara. He's a very choshev doctor who helps a lot of Yidden. Hashem should help. He should have a Refuah Shleimo. For David ben Shoshana and for Ephraim ben Tova. And of course, Shiur is also L'schus Yechiel ben Sholamis Dobrish. And all those that need the Refuah Shleimo Kroiva, Yisrael Shimon ben Bathsheba, all the people that need the Refuah Shleimo Kroiva should have it speedily, a speed recovery, Be'ezras Hashem Yisborech. Today is also the yortzeit of a father of one of our Choshev Mispalalim. It's the yortzeit of Eliyahu ben Arav Yitzchak Ze'ev. Unfortunately, we weren't able to have a Kiddush to Shabbos in Shul. We cannot have a minyan now. We can't say Kaddish, but the least we could do, or maybe at this moment it's not the least, it's the most we can learn is Shiur Tora. Chazal tell us Tora is Magna Umatzla, so we're learning Nishmas Eliyahu ben Arav Yitzchak Ze'ev is Neshama should have an Aliyah. All the Yidden should have a Yeshua, and those that need a Refuah should have a Refuah because of Mamesh, and will be Zoichet to the coming of Mashiach, b'meheira b'yameinu Mamesh. As I mentioned before, we're now on Erev Rosh Chodesh. Tonight is Rosh Chodesh, so please don't forget to say Yalav Yoveh and Ma'ariv. If you have a meal tonight, if you wash, especially if you fasted today, so tonight you're going to have a meal, you're going to wash, so don't forget to say Yalav Yoveh and benching as well. Tomorrow morning is Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Don't forget to daven the Rosh Chodesh davening, which includes Hallel. It includes Musaf, and of course it includes Yalav Yoveh in Shemoneh Esrei. And I want to share with you all that after Hallel, there's a very important part to say, which usually we in the Chabad community, we're very makpid to say it. I didn't notice that other communities are so careful to say it, but I'm not only holding a Siddur, which is Nusach Hari, I'm also holding over here a Siddur, which is not Nusach Hari, and I see over here that the same thing is written. Actually, it's a little more powerful, the introduction in this Siddur, which is not Chabad. So the tefillah that we say after Hallel is V'Avrom Zokim Bo Bayomim V'Hashem Beirach Es Avrom Bakoil. You're supposed to say this 3 times, and then it says V'Yoymar, and you should say Zvadio Yishmereini V'Chayeni Kein Yirotzem Ufanecha Elekim Chaim Umelech Oilom Asher B'Yodei Nefesh Kol Choy Omein. It says after V'Avrom Zokim, you say 3 times V'Avrom Zokim, but actually you say it together. You say V'Avrom Zokim and Zvadia together, you say all this 3 times. Why does it say V'Yoymar? Because being that Zvadia is the name of a Malach, so you might think that you're not supposed to say it, but only think of it, but not to say it, because we know that you only say names of Malachim, which are common names that human beings also have, like Rafal, Gavriel, Michal, those names you're allowed to say. But if it's a name which is not common, which a human being doesn't have such a name, you're not supposed to say it. So therefore it says V'Yoymar, and you should say it. This Koloimer Dovei V'Shem Omer Mevi Gula Lo'ilam. I heard this from Rav Glochovsky from Rehovot. This word. So you should say this. So therefore, I would like to encourage everybody tomorrow after Hallel to say V'Avram Zokin and Zvadi Yushmereini, and take a look what it says in this Siddur. As I mentioned before, this is not the Lubavitcher Siddur, but he says over here, Yesh noyagin loima b'rosh chodesh acher Hallel pasuk zeh v'toiv la'arichus yomim. So if you say this pasuk, you remember this is good for arichus yomim. This is very special, very powerful. So tomorrow after Hallel, please don't forget to say it. Starting from tomorrow until the end of the month of Nisan, we are not going to say Tachnun. Why are we not going to say Tachnun? So as we know that from tomorrow, and this is also something that we need to add after davening, we need to say the Nasi. From tomorrow, from Aleph Nisan until Yud Beis, all the 12 Nasiim, they each brought their Nedava to the Mishkan. And every Nasi, when he brought his Nedava to the Mishkan, it was a Yontif for him. Even though we're not part of his Shevet, but because the whole of Am Yisrael, we're all tied together, we're all one. So therefore, every single Jew, no matter which Shevet you belong to, you're part of the Yontiv of this Nasi who brought. For example, tomorrow we're starting off with Shevet Yehuda. The Nasi of Shevet Yehuda, he brought his donation to the Mishkan. So even though I'm not from Shevet Yehuda, because I know I'm from Shevet Levi, I'm a Kohen. Nevertheless, being that we're all together, the whole of Am Yisrael, and this also has to do with the Neshamois, for sure, definitely the Neshamas are all connected, are all one, so therefore we're all going to be part of this Yontif of the Nasi, and therefore we're not going to say Tachnun, we're going to say the Yehirotzin after the Nasi, and even though I know that I'm a Kohen, or anybody else who knows he's a Levi, nevertheless, we're going to say the word Shebi Imani Avtecha Mishevet Yehuda, because this, as I said before, it has to do with the Ibur and Neshama. We're not going to get into it right now what that means, but the idea is that we're all one, we're all together, we're all part of the Yontif of the Nasi, and therefore, as I said, we're not going to say Tachnun from Aleph until Yud Beis. Afterwards, we're going to have, of course, the Yontif of Pesach. So being that most of the Yontif, most of the month, we're not going to say Tachnun, so therefore the entire month we're not going to say Tachnun. So as I said, already from today by Mincha, no Tachnun, and this will continue until Beis Yom. This Friday, tomorrow night, is the Yortzeit of the Rebbe Rashab, Reb Shalom Doiv Ber, who was the 5th Lubavitcher Rebbe, Umenachosei Kovoid in Rostov, Reb Shalom Doiv Ber ben Shmuel, Zchuso Yogin Aleinu Val Kol Am Yisrael. As I said, we're going to start saying Tachnun again on Beis Iyar. Beis Iyar is the birthday of Reb Shalom Doiv Ber's father, Reb Shmuel. Beis Iyar is his birthday. Reb Shmuel ben Menachem Mendel was the 4th Lubavitcher Rebbe, so we have many Yom de Pagrich, Siddish Yomim Toivim. Of course, in the middle of the month of Nisan, we're going to have the Rebbe's birthday in Yud Aleph Nisan. So the Eibishter should help that we should have Ki Meitzeiskom Eretz Mitzrayim Arenu Niflois B'Korev Mamish. And now we're going to go into a word from this week's Parsha. Our Parshas Vayikra starts off with the words Vayikra El Moshe. Kodesh Baruch Hu called Moshe Vaydabir Hashem Elov Mi'oyel Moyed Leimoyer. What did Hashem ask him to say? Daber B'nei Yisrael, please speak to B'nei Yisrael V'amarta Aleim, and you should say to them, Odom, a man, Odom, a mensch, a man, Ki Yakriv Mikem Korbon LaHashem, Mina Beheimo, Mina Bokor, Mina Tzoin, Takrivu Es Korbanchem. There's the famous question of the Alter Rebbe in Likutei Torah. The Alter Rebbe asks, why does it say over here, Odom Ki Yakriv Mikem? It should say, Odom Mikem Ki Yakriv, a man from amongst you who would like to bring a korban. Not Odom Ki Yakriv Mikem, which sounds like someone who is bringing a korban Mikem from amongst you, from Am Yisrael. Obviously the korbanos are animals, not human beings. So why does it say Odom Ki Yakriv Mikem and not Odom Mikem Ki Yakriv? And Alter Rebbe explains that the whole idea over here is, it's not what you're bringing onto the altar, it's not so much the behemoths, but it's from you, Ki Yakriv Mikem. What are you ready to bring to the altar yourself? What are you ready to bring for HaKadosh Baruch Hu? What is a person ready to sacrifice? What is a person ready to do in order to come closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? That's why it says, Odom Ki Yakriv Mikem. We have to come closer, Yakriv, Miloshen Li Korev, to come closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's Mikem Ubochem Adover Tolui. If we will be ready to give from ourselves for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's the way we'll become closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now there's another word on these words. It says, Odom is Loshen Yochid. So how do we start off? Odom Ki Yakriv Mikem, Odom, one person. Mina Behema, Mina Bokur, Mina Tzoin, Takrivu is Korbanchem. Korbanchem is Loshen Rabim. That's plural, that's not singular. So why do we start off Odom, which means one person, and we end off Takrivu is Korbanchem? It should be Odom Ki Yakriv Mikem. Yakriv is Korbanoi. Or if it's Anoshim ki yakrivu korban, then it's takrivu es korbanchem. But if you start off with Adam ki yakriv mikem, how does it end off with takrivu es korbanchem? So with here I heard a beautiful vart, and the vart is that we know that there are 4 names to a human being. There's Adam, Ish, Enosh, and Gever. And what is the difference between Adam, Ish, Enosh, and Gever? Whereas Ish could be Ishim, Gever could be Gevarim, Enosh could be Anoshim. Adam is the only one that will stay Adam. There's no such thing as Adamim, which shows us that we Am Yisrael were all one. Adam ki yakriv mikem, one person who does something, takrivu es korbanchem, this affects the klal. So now that we're here in shul, nobody is able to come to shul. I'm here almost alone over here in shul. If I wouldn't need someone to take this video, I would be here completely alone. We're here alone in shul, but nevertheless we know that what we're doing over here, this is not affecting only myself, this is affecting everybody, the whole of Klal Yisrael. We're sitting over here, we're learning Torah. Adam ki yakriv mikem. One Adam is sitting and learning. Takrivu es korbanchem. This is helping the whole of Klal Yisrael, the whole of Am Yisrael. Rabbi Korf, the Mori of the Aser over here of our shul, Keser Avram, Chabad, he once mentioned on Shabbos a beautiful story that will illustrate, that will help us understand this concept, the idea of Adam and korbanchem. And this is what I heard from Rabbi Korf. He says the following. This was in 1913, during the times of the famous blood libel. This was the first one, Mishpat Beilis. They took Mendel Beilis and they made up a whole libel about him, that he, a whole Alilas Dom, that he took a Goysha child and he shechted him in order to make matzahs. That's where the Alilas Dom, that was the time. The Alilas Dom was already before then. But then it was a whole big Mishpat Beilis was very famous. You all know about it. I'm not giving any chidushim over here. But the word was then at the time, they wanted that Rabbonim should come and they should defend themselves, they should answer, they should explain, to try to explain Am Yisrael about certain things that were written in the Talmud, and explain, because they based their case to show how it's true and it's emes to say that the Yidden are able to take a goy and shecht him in order to make matzahs, because they found in the Talmud all kinds of things which accuse Gentiles, which accuse Umay Sa'olam, and therefore to show how the blood of goyim means nothing, and therefore this is true, this is possible. So they had a lot of Rabbonim who came to defend. And the Rebbe's father, Rabbi Yitzchok, Agoyin HaKodesh, HaMekubel Olekir, Rabbi Yitzchok Schneerson, he was there as well. And there was one of the Rabbonim over there by the name of Rabbi Yaakov Mazeh. He got a letter from the famous Rabbi Yehuda Shapira from Lublin, who was the Mechaber of the idea of Daf HaYomi. Rabbi Yehuda Shapira from Lublin, he understood already what one of the questions that they're going to ask, and he wrote to Rabbi Yaakov Mazeh already a tshuva, what he should answer them. What was it? It says in the Gemara, Chazal tell us, Atem kruim Adam, ve'enu mesoilom kruim Adam. Who is called an Adam? Only us, Jewish people. But the Goyim are not called Adam. So therefore they wanted to show from this, what does this mean? That they're not called Adam. So therefore, if they're not called Adam, you should check them, their blood is free, do whatever you want. So the Meir Shapira from Lublin, he wrote to Rabbi Yaakov Mazeh a whole answer how to explain it. And this is what he said to him. The answer is, when it says Atem Kruim Adam, it's not that we're not calling someone else a human being. It means to say Atem Kruim Adam, we the Jews, we're considered Adam. But Einu Misoilam Kruim Adam, why is that? Because we, the Yidden, we're one. V'haraya, what is the biggest proof? You see that here Mendel Beilis is being accused, but who are they accusing? They're not only accusing one private person, they're accusing the entire Am Yisrael. Not only Am Yisrael, then at that time in 1913, the whole of the history of Am Yisrael, they're trying to blame the whole of Am Yisrael at Soif Kol HaDoros. What does this show you? It shows you that Am Yisrael, we're all one, we're one person. One Jew is being accused, but the whole of Am Yisrael are being accused. By the Goyim, you don't find such things. One Goy does something wrong. Did you ever hear of someone to come and accuse all of the Goyim? Unheard of, never happened. So Mimele, this is what he explained in Meir Shapir Lublin. He explained, when it says Atem Krim Adam, it means to say that you, Am Yisrael, you're called Adam. We, Am Yisrael, we're called Adam because we're all one. That's the pshat over here. Atem Krim Adam, Veinu Misoilam Krim Adam. Now, I would like to continue over here with another word, and this has been a geya to Chag HaPesach, which is coming. We can get ready for for Pesach, very important to start talking already about the Seder of Leila Seder of Pesach that is coming up. So one of the things that we do on Pesach is, we know there's a thing called Yachatz. What is Yachatz? We take the second matzah, the middle matzah, and we cut it into two pieces. And the question is, we know there's a rule, Ein ma'avirin ala mitzvos. What does it mean, Ein ma'avirin ala mitzvos? It means, for example, if you have your bag with your talis and tefillin, you have to make sure that your talis is reachable the first thing in the morning. When you come to open the bag, you'll first come to reach the talis and not the tefillin. Because if you first touch the tefillin, you take it out, then you can't put on the talis first, because Ein ma'avirin ala mitzvos. You have a mitzvah in your hand, you can't push it away, you can't put it away, you can't move it. So therefore, you have to come first to the talis. Also, when you take out your tefillin, make sure to take out tefillin shel yad, not tefillin shel rosh, because ein ma'avirin ala mitzvos. You have to be very careful to do everything in the seder. So if we have three matzahs, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Kohen, Levi, Yisrael, why don't we take the first matzah that we come to and cut it into half? Why are we waiting till we come to the second matzah, Levi, and we cut that matzah into two? Levi, which is representing Yitzchak Avinu and not Avram Avinu, especially as we know that by Avram Avinu, he was the one that went through Bris Bein Abisarim. Bris Bein Abisarim, that was the splitting. So L'chure, we should take the first matzah, which is the splitting, the one that represents Avram Avinu, we should split that one, not the second matzah. Why Dafka, the one of Yitzchak? And the answer is, it says that when Am Yisrael was supposed to go into Golus, they came in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and they begged and they asked Hashem, the Am Yisrael should not go into Golus, they should not suffer so much in Mitzrayim. Now HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, any one of you who will give me a letter from your name, Ois Mishmoi, then for his sake, I'll be Mavatu for Am Yisrael in the Golus. Avram Avinu wasn't able to give Hashem a letter from his name, especially that we know that he had a letter that was added to his name. From Avram he turned into Avraham, so he can't give a letter. Yaakov, Hashem changed his name from Yaakov to Yisrael, and which letter would he give? The only one who was able to give a letter was Yitzchak. It says in Tehillim, Ushvu'osoi leYitzchak, with a sin, not with a tzaddik. That means that Yitzchak's name was Yitzchak with a sin, and he gave the Yitzchak, he gave the sin, and he got a tzaddik instead of a shin. Now we know that the numerical value of a shin is 300. The numerical value of tzaddik is 90. What's the difference between 300 and 90? You don't have to be a big mathematician in order to figure this out. The difference is 210. Am Yisrael was supposed to be in Golus Mitzrayim for 400 years. Instead of 400 years, they were only there for how long? For 210 years. And this is in the schus of who? Yitzchak Avinu. Which means that Yitzchak was the one that was able to split the Golus Mitzrayim. Instead of it being 400, it turned into 210. That's why we split Dafka, the matzah of Yitzchak. So my Rabbi say, as I started off saying, now's a very special time, Erev Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Ben Nisan Nigalu, says the Gemara, Ben Nisan Asidin Li Goel. So we should be Zoiche now. As we enter the Rosh Chodesh Nisan, we should be Zoiche to the coming of Mashiach Tzidkeinu B'Meheira B'Yameinu Mamesh, and we should hear good news B'Soich Klal Yisrael and in the whole world. We should hear the good news that everybody is healthy and wealthy, everybody is doing just fine, everybody is doing just okay. There'll be simcha by everybody. We'll all sit together. The whole of Am Yisrael for Leila Seder will sit together in Yerushalayim Eir HaKodesh by the Beis HaMikdash, hoping to serve you guys as a kohen. I hope to do my job in the Beis HaMikdash B'Korev Mamish. Shkoyach.